Well, hello. This is one of those videos that's like, I don't know if anyone's ever going to see it. It's funny, the ones that I'm like, I don't think anyone's ever going to see this are the ones I feel like they end up me put out. I'm sure I've put disclaimers on this. If not, I'm just letting you know that I need to say some shit. And because technically is another Friday the 13th and is also my Aunt Kim's birthday, rest in power, my blessed aunt. I love her. She was my closest family member besides my grandmother. And she's a Sag like me. And, you know, now looking back and everything, like just how powerful she was. And just like, if I knew what I knew now, then like, could I have made a difference? Like all this, like, I mean, it's such fucking human, silly, like, it's like, let's put it this way. I have been screaming and crying and just hitting a fucking wall today. Because in real time, it's December 20th, 2024. But if you add the numbers together, it's 13. So another Friday the 13th. And I feel like the divine goddess wants us, the divine feminine energy, the goddess energy. I lost Isis for a few days, you know, my pendulum. And then I just found her today. I'm like, well, that's not an accident. After I had a fucking breakdown shitstorm, fucking like whatever. So interesting. It's so interesting. I mean, you guys, okay, I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm sure I said it on there. I'm going to cry. I can feel it. I can feel it brewing inside of me. But I have to tell you that there are days where I hit my fucking limit. And today is one of them because it wasn't enough that like Alder and I had to come to Jesus the other day after my birthday, after I had this like very vivid dream. I made a video for you guys. I don't know if I'm ever going to post it, but I made a video for you guys on my birthday, thanking you for the gifts, opening all the fucking gifts that you guys gave me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's like, then it was like that video, and then I did it. That was like the beginning of my birthday, and then after my birthday with Alder was like, it was just shit. And I don't know how many times I have to be hit in the face with a fucking, you know, it hit me like a wrecking ball, right? Like the fucking wrecking ball to the face. Like, how many times do we have to take these wrecking balls to the face before we say enough is enough and just stop? And I had this horrible dream where Alder was so horrible to me. I didn't even know anyone could be that horrible. I mean, it was like, I mean, so I wasn't going to, I tried to text him about it. I was going to call him about it, but I knew I was going to see him in a few days. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to let that go for a minute. I'm just going to let that go. So I let it go. And then when I saw him, I thought I could let it go. But then all of these, like, everything just like came back at me because everything's so blurred right now. I don't know if you're going through this because, you know, I feel like the people who listen to these kind of podcasts are people who are like myself, who are really going through it and trying to like get to the bottom of it. You know, a lot of people just wear blinders and masks. They don't, you know, they don't care. They may care, but they don't want to like actually put the fucking work in. That's why a lot of you guys know, like, I mean, I can't do the work for you. And none of us can do the work for each other. We have to do it ourselves. But just because, when I looked down, I thought it was 5:55. Interesting. Forget it. It doesn't matter. I feel like I'm having one of those things where I'm just like, sometimes I just need to get it out. But when they have me recorded, I always think it's crazy because I was getting it out. I mean, poor Bubba. Bubba like held a lot of space. Thanks, Bubba. I was like, I've been like talking with her. Oh my gosh. And while I'm talking to you, a fucking ladybug just crawled out from out of nowhere onto my, oh no, I think they need help. Hold on. Okay, so I was going to get up and try and help it and save it because I heard something behind that curtain I've been leaving the windows open for Bubba, like the screen and everything, because she'll go outside, but for not for very long, and I have to like literally pick her up and put her outside, which thank God she is in her crone, because the old her would have never ever let me pick her up. And even today I was like working with her, and she was like, she hissed at me and she growled, but she didn't like try and swipe me or do anything, because like she knows it's just, you know, certain things like I have to take care of her. I finally broke down and made an appointment for the vet. I'm just like, I just need to go. I need to go. I need to find out what's going on. She's been breathing weird, and I got the vibe to make it for a week from Saturday, so I don't know if that's because of one thing or another, but whatever. Anyway, I digress. So I'm sitting here talking to you guys and realized that probably from one of the times I left the window open, a ladybug got in. But I don't know if it's a ladybug or a Japanese beetle. I can't see it, and they told me to leave it be. So I don't know if it wants to die in here. Maybe it just came here. Maybe it was about to die and came in here to give us the medicine. I don't know, but they told me to look up ladybug medicine. Oh, so fucking weird. I said that about Bubba, and it's 12:28, and that's the day that her appointment is to take her to the vet. And my phone's at 44%. Oh my God, I gotta take a picture of that. That's crazy. Okay, so for the ladybug, it says protection and renewal. In spiritual context, ladybugs symbolize protection and renewal. In some cultures, these beetles are associated with the notions of rebirth and regeneration. Their presence during pivotal seasons, especially in the spring, is considered a symbol of new beginnings and the cyclical renewal of life. So basically, oh, okay, and now they want me to show this one too, because it says, what do ladybugs symbolize spiritually? It says, spiritual meaning of ladybug. The ladybug's symbolism is associated with protection, wish fulfillment, and luck. If it appears in your life, you may be an open-minded person who likes to expand knowledge. Very true. If you've seen a ladybug flying around you, close your eyes and make a wish for it to come true. Ooh, so maybe that's for some of us, maybe that's for all of us, I don't know, but that was very powerful. And that was from December 9th, 2024. And the other one was from February 1st, 2024. The first one was luckysignspirits.com. And the second one is from a TikTok person. It says, ladybug in my bedroom spiritual. That's all it says. So anyway. It says, when God sends a ladybug, the ladybug is used as an attribute of the divine and frequently plays the role of a messenger or servant of God. Oh my gosh, this one says, historically and cross-culturally, ladybugs are believed to be talismans of luck. Some believe that if a ladybug lands on you, you should count the number of spots to predict how many years of good luck you'll have. Many think the spots indicate the number of months until your greatest wishes come true. That's so interesting. So the reason why this all is coming together is because even though it's Friday, it's Freya, it's like divine feminine energy, it's 13, it's 4, it's balance, like it should feel good, right? But I feel like I'm just purging and purging and purging. And I really, really, really urge you to do the same. I mean, I screamed and yelled today things out loud that I've wanted to say. Some things I've wanted to say my whole life and I've never said it. And I just fucking said it. And even when I said it and I heard it come out of my mouth and like felt the air leave my belly, I literally was like, I felt better, but also I like instantly like retract and was like, I'm sorry, I don't mean that. Like, well, because it's like, you could be mad or angry in the minute, but it's like, I don't want to send fucking bad juju. First of all, I don't need the karma. Second of all, it's like, it's just old stuff. So like whoever they are now or wherever they are now, it's like to spit venom is one thing, you know, but like to wish ill will or like, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm a powerful witch. I got to be fucking careful. So ever since Alphaba fucking woke my witch on my Friday the 13th birthday, all this shit's been coming to me. Last night, I ended up watching this. I don't know what the deal is with it, but it was like a second story. I wouldn't say part 2 because it's been so long, but it was like a second story of oh my gosh, I just watched it last night. It's a witch movie. The one that was big with the 4 girls. It'll come to me. The 4 young ladies, young people. Yeah, I mean, just so much is happening right now. Anyway, there's a newer one with David Duchovny. And I feel like it could have been really awesome if it had the right people and the right money and everything. I think it actually could have been really good and really powerful. However, there were certain things that I was like, Nancy made a cameo though, so that was cool. The one witch at the end, Ferusha Balak, I think is her last name. She played the dark witch, with her, mom living in the trailer and all that, and then at the end they get rich and then she goes crazy. Anyway, she plays a cameo in the new one, which was cool. The Craft, thank you, Spirit. I kept wanting to say the cult or the occult, but that's what the second one was. It was like really stringently strong on the divine masculine energy. It was like, let's put it this way, it could have been a huge hit, but there were too many misses. And I think it's because they were probably trying to be politically correct. Also, they had to be mindful of like things they were saying, because in the first movie, they're like, fuck, they were all really witches. You know what I mean? And they're like, some of them didn't know they were witches. Some of them did. And they had witches on set, but you have to be really mindful of like certain words you're putting into, oh, it's back. Let me see. Did they want me to put it outside right now? No, they got it? Okay. Oh, I see what happened. They got stuck in between... The ladybug's back. They got stuck in between the screen and the glass. And I feel like it's such a fucking metaphor about where we are right now. They're okay. They fell, but I think they were trying to... It's like they could probably smell the air, but they don't know, like they're not like grounded. They're not going the right way. And I feel like that's what's happening with a lot of us right now. The day before my birthday on the 1212 portal, I went and visited this local metaphysical shop and was really drawn to go in there. It was like all these breadcrumbs that kept lining the way for me to go there. And I have been feeling for months and months and months like I was supposed to be like working downtown or working or somehow like establishing myself here. I don't know how to explain it. But every time I would go towards it, I would just feel this no energy, like really strong. And not like, I was like asking my pendulum, asking cards, just like double, triple checking, because, I can tell that my spidey sense has been all over the place since my mom was dying and then my mom passed. Like, it's just been so overwhelming. And long story short, I went in there and they wanted to put me on the schedule like right away, which is cool, but also like I said yes because I was in the high of the moment. I wasn't really grounded. I was feeling like this elation of being with Alder, and I was feeling like the last bits of us. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like just basically since he left, he was supposed to go for 2 weeks. We were going to take a 2-week break. A 2-week break went to, I'm really enjoying my time. I need more time. I'm like, well, take all the time you need, man. I'm like, I'm enjoying my time. Bubba and I had a really fun summer together, Now looking back on it, I see what was happening. That was, I don't know if that was Bubba's last summer, but it definitely, like, she's not the same and she's not well. And I've been, saying to her with so much love and grace, like, I love you, but like, I don't want you to stay here for me. I'm like, I release you from any karma or any bullshit or whatever. Maybe I can't release her and maybe I don't have that power, it's her mission. It's her story. But this whole year has been like just so many changes on top of changes. And I'm a Sag. I like change and adventure and freedom as much as the next person or the next Sag. But this has been different. This has been so different on so many levels. And I've been feeling a lot of anger and resentment towards Alder because I just feel like I'm like, I meant it when I said I wanted to support him. But I also was like, we need to work on us too. Like, we can't just like abandon our relationship. That's been the problem since the beginning. And basically the other day I had this horrible dream that was so vivid. It was like so real that when I woke up, I was like sobbing, and wanted to reach out to him. And I didn't until I saw him in person. And then I asked him in person, like, if that were true or if that was just like my subconscious or like our shadows, like, whatever. And he was like, no, it's true. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, am I just like going through blinders right now? It's like, I don't know if it's like, so the reason why I like to share this stuff with you guys is because I'm human here too. I'm not a fucking, swami. Like I mean, yes, I'm a really powerful angel, witch, medium, whatever the fuck, whatever title you want to put on me. Like, I know what I am. I know I'm not of this situation, but I'm here, like I chose to be here as human. So I'm still going through the pain and the suffering of it. My heart is so big. I love humans. I love Earth so much. That's why I've said for a long time, I feel like I was an integral part. I know we're all one and co-created and blah, blah, blah. But like for real though, like whatever division of Earth, like whoever, like I feel like I helped co-create this. Because I love it so much, and I feel like the people who love Earth so much, like we're the co-creators. Like we really, we loved, I feel like we created humans, and we wanted to, because the universe is so vast, and there's all these different planets, and that's why I feel like the Lyrians and the Arcturians and the Syrians, like everybody's like getting involved right now because it's just gone too far. Like it was like it's almost like we all co-created it. Like wherever we come from, the angel realm, like we co-created it, and then we co-created these different levels of consciousness that have now like turned into human beings, and some of them just have no fucking conscience. That's why people are stabbing people and killing people, and like where people are like, what the fuck is going on? Like I wouldn't be surprised if T-Man never makes it to the White House, because I feel like if he goes in the White House, like it's not going to be good. Like I feel like there's going to be something or someone or something's going to step in where they're going to be like, no. Like almost like I wouldn't be surprised if like Kamala just like stays there. You know what I mean? And she just like becomes the president. Is like, you know what, we're doing a new democracy. That's fine. Go for it. Go ahead and let's have a civil war then. Because I know I'm at the point now where I'm just like, let's fucking do it. Let's rip off the fucking Band-Aid. Let's stop pretending. You know what? I mean, sometimes people have to fucking die. Like, you can come at things with, like, kumbaya and love so far. You can only meet somebody as far as they're willing to meet you. But we cannot just stand back and just let people willy-nilly, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, nobody is going to blow my fucking planet up. She still has life in her, and she's beautiful, and she's amazing. And I do believe there's an inner earth. I do believe there's, like, some type of, like, thing that we can't understand. And so I wouldn't be surprised if giants come back and like all these things come back that we created, fairies and witches and werewolves. And I was watching the Teen Wolf movie, the new one that's from the TV show. I watched that yesterday, and I was having so many aha moments, like between Wicked and that, and I started writing again. You guys, my books are so fucking good. I don't give a shit if they never see the light of day. I was like bawling my eyes out reading the end of my first novel. I mean, because it was like I've been having all these, it's a series, right? So like I'll start writing, and then I'm like, is that this book or is that this book? So like I write all the time. I write songs, I write poems. I started writing another, I don't know if it's going to be a book or a screenplay or a movie, but I started writing this really awesome thing, like a comedy. It's like a dark comedy though, and a dramedy. It's like a dramedy, based on like a lot of like experiences in my life and people that I've met and what I'm seeing in the world, so I don't know if any of this will ever see the light of day, but I don't care, because it's helped. I mean, I care if it's meant to be there, of course. I'm saying like, all I know is that like I have no regrets, like writing it all out and putting it all out there. Like it needed to be heard. It needed to be said like this right now. Like sometimes I just need to be able to talk without like thinking too much, or you know what I mean? Like it's like sometimes I'm super grounded, and sometimes when I'm in this energy, I'm at the, not only is it Friday the 13th in numerology and my aunt's birthday, my powerful witchy aunt and everything, but and that's a generation, right? Because my grandma was really witchy, my aunt was really witchy, and I'm really witchy. And even though my nieces and nephews, and I'm sure their kids are really powerful too, like my one niece who's a Sag, and her birthday is, ironically, I'm the 13th, she's the 16th, and my aunt's the 20th. But all three of us, we're 3 generations, right? All 3 of us are like so similar, and our gifts are so strong. And I know, like, I know my niece is like, I feel like she's even more powerful than I am. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the kids are going to be more powerful. Like, they're meant to be, right? Just like my grandma was really powerful, my aunt was really powerful, and I'm really powerful. But like, we all got more powerful, you know. And my aunt died young because she gave so much of herself all the fucking time to everybody, all the time. She barely had anything left for herself. And I feel like Spirit's showing me, if I stay on this trajectory, I'm going to be just like her. And I started to get really angry with Alder, and that's why I was saying the resentment was coming in. Because you know what? We both are the youngest. We both are runners. Like, we're so similar in so many ways. But what's frustrating to me right now is I'm like, what started out to be like a small break has like turned into like he's never coming back. And like, we're done. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but whatever. I'm just going to leave that there. You can use your imagination, but whatever. Because I can't go there. Because if my brain goes there, my brain's going to go to the past. My brain's going to go to all the horrible things. But what's frustrating me right now, I don't care about any of that. I really don't. I mean, of course, my heart hurts and like whatever, and it's like whatever. But the thing that is really stringent is becoming like my new word, which has been like so clear for me, is that I deserve better in terms of like, yes, he's been amazing, like helping financially and stuff like that. I mean, he's not a monster. However, I've had a lot of meltdowns and breakdowns where I can tell he's just like, I can't handle this, I gotta go. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can't fucking handle it either. I'm like, you know what? Because I didn't think I was gonna be handling a fucking off-grid home by myself. I didn't think I'd be handling my mother's death at the same time. And I didn't think for a fucking second that I'd be handling my best friend leaving this earth as I have to watch her suffer every fucking day. And that's what I said to her. I'm like, Baba, I can't watch you suffer, man. I mean, I'm doing my best to make her comfortable. But there's just only so much I can witness, you know? And I said this to him the other day. I said, do you not understand? Like, I am so beautiful. My heart is so fragile. I'm like, you just traipse on it. Like, he just has no fucking empathy or regard. And it's like, and then I thought to myself, why do I keep choosing people like this in my life, you know? Because at first I was like, oh, it's men. And then I was like, no, it's not about men. Then it went on to like, you know, other people. I'm not going to like name names. I feel like I've named enough, but man, it's just like, let's just put it this way. I've had a bully that's been in my life since I was born. And I just like had a moment today where I was just like, fuck you. I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you for not being better to me. Fuck you for not looking out for me and being there for me. Fuck you. But then you know what I thought to myself? I chose them. I chose this family. I chose it. I said it was okay. I said it was going to be okay. But it's not okay. Because I wouldn't do that, right? Like, I wouldn't have done that. But also, we were in the same house at the same time. So I can be angry at my family. I can be, you know what I mean? It's like, I even had a few friends that have come through recently in the last like 48 hours, you know, like through dreams, whatever. So here's the fucking kicker. Why I had a meltdown today is because why I've been trying to just digest all this shit since my fucking birthday. Since I thought we were on a date and it was romantic and things were good, and then realized later that, oh, I'm sorry, Alder was like, oh no, I didn't know you meant like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so what did you think I meant when I said a date? I'm like, are we going on a date or are we just like friends hanging out kind of thing? He's like, no, date. And I was like, okay. So then when I like confronted him about it, he's like, no. But when I asked him, it was when we were in a euphoric moment, having a great memory of something awesome that happened to us while we were on our way to do something fun and awesome. And I realized that, like, you know, I wouldn't say that the divine masculine, I mean, I can't speak for, you know what I mean? Like, it's happening to everybody, all of us. We all have divine masculine and divine feminine. But what I'm noticing is that the really rigid, stringent divine masculine that's like got us into all this fucking trouble, this very Mars, like, strong energy is, and why Mars has to go retrograde. Like, all this stuff has to happen for people to finally say, fuck this. Like, no. Like, if I were Kama, I'd be like, no fucking way. Nope, I'm not leaving. I'm like, no, we're not leaving, you guys. Like, I'd be like, we need to figure this out. This is not natural. This is not natural. Our children shouldn't be killing each other. This has gone too far. I went to look at the weather today, and I saw a fucking headline about a 7-year-old being stabbed in school. I'm like, I can't. And I don't know if it's real or not. That's the thing. I don't know what's real anymore. Because last night, while I was quote unquote sleeping, I was being fucking, you guys don't even know. I woke up, like, I shot up out of bed when I woke up, and it was dark, and I could see the lights coming in from, like, outside, but, like, I like sat up and, like, looked around, and because I literally for a split second thought that I had brought entities back with me. Because I was, wherever the fuck I was in some crazy mansion, like a brothel, but it was so, I haven't seen Zoe Kravitz's movie. The original title was Pussy Island, but they changed it because it was just too much. She was like, I don't care. And they're like, she's like, that's the name of my film. They're like, yeah, we have to change it. So she ended up changing it. I don't remember what it's called now. I haven't seen it yet, but I can only imagine, like, this was something similar, because basically it was so weird. It was like this place with all these doors, and I could hear things going on, but I could hear sex, but I could hear screaming. Like, it was very disturbing. It was very, 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 very disturbing. And I opened a door, and I saw these men, and this woman was, like, crying, but it was real crying. It wasn't fake. It wasn't for, like, some acting out some sex fantasy. It wasn't like that. This was very real. I could tell she was there against her will. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing here? And she was, like, looking at me like, run, run. And I was like, what? And before I knew it, it was like I saw Elon Musk. And he was like, what are you doing here? Who are you? What are you doing here? And I was like, I didn't know what I was doing there either. I just knew I was in danger. I was like, I knew that this was bad, and I needed to get the fuck out of there. But as I was, like, running from these people, they started chasing after me, and I ran and ran and ran. And it was like this labyrinth. It was very fucking scary. And there were just all of these men, and it was so real that I was like, I bet this is what's fucking happening. I bet him and Trump and, like, all these other, I bet they're at the fucking helm of all of this child trafficking and sex trafficking and whatever. And I'm like, it's almost like if we give them the White House, we might as well just, like, all kiss our asses goodbye, because I don't know what the fuck. And I'm not putting fear out. I'm just telling you, like, where I was not a fucking dream. I haven't astral traveled like that. And I mean, the thing with Alder was very real, but it felt like it was like our higher selves, or like some other plane, or, you know what I mean? Like maybe I tapped into something, like when he goes, with his DMT, or like his, his ayahuasca stuff. Like, maybe, I don't know, because we were naked when I went up. It was like 1 minute we were, like, loving and everything was beautiful, and then he, like, pushed me off of him. Like, he pushed me. Ooh, and I looked down, it was 28. Oh my gosh, then it was 28. Alder's birthday is May 28th, and my dad's birthday was February 28th, and my dad died on Alder's birthday, May 28th. Fuck. Anyway, I just feel like there's just this disillusionment, this, like, I feel like this dissolve of, like, it's like we're seeing things on a whole other level, in a whole different way, in a way that, like, I don't even know if we even understand what's happening. You know what I mean? But he pushed me away, and I was like, what are you, I'm like, I love you. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what's, and because it didn't feel like him. It felt like he was taken over. And he just, like, pushed me back again, and he's like, I'm with somebody else. Like, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to, we're over, we're over, we're over. And it was just like, so he was like, it was like, I went to kiss him and he's like, you can't kiss me. Like, you don't have a right to kiss me. Like, you can't, I belong to somebody else, is basically like what he was saying. And so I just was like, oh my God. And then I thought, is that the truth? And that's what Spirit's been trying to show me for a long time, but I didn't want to see it. He didn't want to see it. You know what I mean? And then I was just seeing how much it was mirroring my first marriage, and just like, it was so fucking weird. And then like when I confronted Alder in person about it, he said yes, but he said he wasn't with anyone. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I'm like, I don't know. And I can't go there because I'm getting yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. So I have no idea. Hold on, I gotta plug my laptop in. But yeah, like just all this kind of crazy, heavy, like unnatural, but is it natural? Am I seeing it but I don't want to see it? You know what I mean? Like just all this like really peculiar, bizarre shit that I'm like, I don't know what's happening to me. So when I went into the so on the 12/12 portal, when I went into this establishment to ask him about the readings thing, I took on too much. I don't know. It was almost like the old people pleaser in me, or the old, like, because I just was like, I wanted to please. It wasn't even for, this is the irony. It wasn't to please me. You know, Alder had just, you know, made all this money that week, and like things were really good, and we were doing good, and like, or I felt like we were doing good. Like I felt like we were like working towards something. And so I was excited to spend my birthday with him. Oh, when I looked down, it was 31/12, which is my birthday backwards. What the fuck? Oh my God. Okay. Or I guess in British, they would put it 13/12. Oh, the frogs are chirping. Oh my gosh, it's just overwhelming. That's what I mean. It's just like, it's like, I feel like I need my own, like my own war cry from fucking Wicked. But yeah, it's like, talk about waking the witch. I mean, there's just been like so many things where I feel like they've been holding me back and holding me back and holding me back. And now all of a sudden it's just like, bam, every portal this year, it's just gotten more intense, more intense, more intense. So that's why I'm struggling, because I'm like, I almost can't tell. I'm like, which of it is real and which of it is not? And is there such a thing, you know, as real and not real? That's like the craziness right now, is I can't even tell what's real and what's not real. And I think that that's where we're supposed to be, because we're supposed to purge all of that. We're supposed to let go of all that. So I said yes, that I would work the 22nd, which is the day after solstice. Why would I do, like, it's like right now in real time, like I said, it's the 20th, but it's also the last day of Sagittarius season. Basically, I mean, we're in the last hours of Sagittarius season, because it's going to switch over to Capricorn over the next 48 hours, right? And so we're at the end of Sagittarius. We're still in the Sagittarius moon, but we're at today's the last day of fall. The very last day of fall. And my Aunt Kim's birthday was the last day of fall. It's just so interesting. So, I don't know. I don't know what's really happening, but I do know that whatever it is really challenging all of us to purge out and stop looking at things through rose-colored glasses, to see it for what it really is. Ironically, the screen has changed and it looks like rose-colored glasses, right? Like, it's like looking at the difference between the light color and the red, and like in the fray, and like what's in the fray. And I feel like we are in all of it all at once. The light workers, the angels, the healers, the deep down believers in magic. We're in all of it all at once. It takes really brave warriors to be here at this time and do this right now, because it fucks with our human function, but we need the human function to survive. And there's like these multiple levels of like everything. Like I said, it's like everything happening all at once, and trying to decipher. And it's like trying to pull a fucking rose out of a tornado without losing a fucking petal. I mean, it's like, I don't know where that came from. I guess another Wizard of Oz analogy. But all of it is, right? Like, all of it is. I mean, it just dawned on me the other day. that when I was watching Wicked, that I was like, oh my gosh, Elphaba's sister. Remember? Because at the beginning of The Wizard of Oz, when she first, or not the beginning of, but when she first makes it to Oz, you know, Elphaba comes down, the Wicked Witch, and she's like, who killed my sister? She's like, who killed my sister? Well, that makes sense, right? Because we find it with the ruby slippers. Come to find out, the original slippers were actually silver and like diamonds. Like they were like sparkly. They were sparkly, shimmery, sparkly silver. They only did red. This is a true historical fact about the Wizard of Oz. They only did red because they made the Wizard of Oz when they were changing from black and white movies to Technicolor. And to really pop the yellow brick road and her feet, because the camera wasn't picking up the sparkles the way they wanted it to, they did red ruby slippers and they changed it. In Wicked, you see the actual slippers that she's wearing. So it's going to be very interesting. And now that like we are meeting Elphaba's sister, I mean, it's like there's no spoiler alert if you've seen The Wizard of Oz, right? But right, it's like pretty much all of us at this point in our lives have seen The Wizard of Oz. But that's the whole storyline, is that like, who killed my sister, you know, and the anger that I'm sure is going to come out of Elphaba, which will become her undoing. And I feel like that's what Spirit is trying to show us right now, is like the anger, this suffering and all that right now, it will be our undoing unless we fucking pull it together. So there's going to be some of us who are going to have to be brave enough to just stand up and say, no, like that can't happen, or that's not going to happen anymore. You can't do that. You can't just decide to like whatever. You don't give somebody who's unhinged and unstable fucking access to nuclear weapons, to a fucking red button that'll fucking like destroy the planet. I'm not worried about any of us dying. I mean, if that's what's going to happen, maybe we've already recreated a new Earth. You know what I mean? Maybe the new Earth they're talking about is going to be somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like we're all going to die, but like we'll just like reincarnate on new Earth, and like we'll be like, okay, so now let's learn from the ancestors what happened when we let the fucking lunatics, when we let the you know, unstable people run the, you know, asylum kind of thing. It's like, you know, that's what's happening right now. Guns are unnecessary. We should be able to just protect ourselves. We've seen from martial arts, we've seen from other cultures that you can kill someone without a weapon. So why do we have them? And talking about, oh, we need to protect ourselves from what? From what we created? Yeah, we do need to protect ourselves, because our fucking country's going into other countries and taking whatever they fucking want, whenever they fucking want it. You know? So we're a part of that. Our ancestors are a part of that. The whole planet, we're all responsible for it. There's wars happening right now. If this was World War III, we'd already be over there. That's why we're not over there. Because we realize, like, you know, it's like you cannot go in. We're not Superman. We may have touted ourselves as the most powerful country in the world, but you can, you know, what's that old saying? You could put lipstick on a pig, but at the end of the day, it's still a fucking pig. You can dress it up and put makeup on it, but a pig can't put makeup on itself. You can make a pig look cute, and you can make a pig look awesome, and you can make everybody believe that the pig is turned in, it's got all these gifts and skills and can put makeup on itself. But you know what? It's not. We did it. Somebody else did it, right? So it's like there's just this accountability. And today I was screaming and crying, and I hit my max, because I'm like, it's not that I can't do these things. I can. It's just that I would not have chose to do these things by myself. And the divine masculine can't handle things right now. So we have to ask ourselves, like, you know, as women, as the divine feminine, whatever, it's like, I don't know, maybe that's why we have like the front runner of like women, and why they don't want women in power, because they know if women get into power, that we're going to be like, grow up, put your fucking guns away, stop, get him out of that chokehold, get him out of that chokehold. Why are you choking him? To see whose dick's bigger? To see who's stronger? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, there's just a point where it's like the divine feminine has to come in and break up the fucking fight. Because the divine masculine's acting like an ass. And somebody's got to fucking do something. And today I just hit my limit, because I was like fucking pissed off. And you can still hear it in my voice. That things were going so well with Baba. At least I felt like they were. And then today I saw her and I'm like, what is she doing? I'm like, she's just relaxing. I'm like, oh no, she did it again. She went and peed where she's not supposed to. But she hasn't done that since almost a month ago. And I thought we were on an upswing, and I'm like, are you in remission? Like, are you trying to show me like that you're in remission? Like, what's happening? So I feel like at this point, I said to her, I go, I feel like these are your choices. I'm like, either you pass gracefully and lovingly and peacefully in your sleep before Saturday, December 28th of this year, or you are going to the doctor. I'm like, because I need to figure out like what's going on. And if it is just you're elderly, or are you like, is something really, really wrong with you? And like, I've been sending her healing energy. I've been working on her. I'm like, if it's just your time, like I am there to support her 100%. But it's the mixed signals that are making me like crazy, because one can only handle so much. I'm still human here. And every day having to boil the water and do the dishes and clean and just all of it, I'm just at my wit's end. Today I was so excited. I'm like, I wanted to do an homage to my aunt and for you guys and the Divine Feminine. I wanted to do a picker reading so bad today. Like I felt like I wanted to do a reading so bad, and here I am, 40 minutes later. All the way down 40:28. Come on, today's a 4. Oh, but we're almost at the end. And I feel like that's what it is too. It's like, because if you were to ask my very Glinda, everything's beautiful, or even not even Glinda. I mean, honestly, really Alphaba. Alphaba was the one that is the key character here. Galinda's kind of an asshole. I mean, if you think about it, she is. I mean, it's like, she's like, I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy that you're choosing this. And she's like, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy that you fucking are going to, instead of standing for what's right, you're going to just go with whatever, because what you want is so much more important to you than what's right. And that's kind of how I feel right now. Like, I feel like deep down, I'm like, Alder knows, like, I am struggling. My best friend is going through this, and he's close to her too. Like she's been in his life for 6+ years. And my mom died this year. Like, have some fucking empathy. My God. It's like, it's just, he is like, has no idea, no clue. And every time he comes here, he makes me feel like I'm a burden. He makes me feel like, and I know they say nobody can make you feel like that, but it's like, it's so implied. It's implied that he doesn't want to be here. It's implied, as a telepathic medium and as an empath, I can feel that there's something wrong. And I do feel like he's touched another woman or put his lips on another woman or something. Maybe he's fantasized about it. I don't know. But whatever it is, it feels very close. Or maybe he's like astral traveling and it's like bringing the essence back with him. I have no fucking clue. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I cannot tell anymore what's real and what's not. And the funny thing is, I don't feel quote unquote crazy. I don't feel crazy. I feel like this is what's happening. I feel like I feel like everything's collapsing in on itself. And it's going to be like, who's going to be able to like make it through it and who's not, like, who's going to, whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's so intense. It's so real. It's so bigly. It's just so, I mean, everything. There's just so much going on right now. So I feel like, another person could hear everything I'm saying and be very calm and very, patient and cautious and probably surmise like what I'm saying, but in a much more gentle and loving way. And maybe I will someday. But right now it's just like so intense, because my heart, the heart that believes in the good and the purity in everything and everyone, believes that there's still, there's a place for us, right? For Alder and I, somewhere a place for us, but it makes me cry, because I'm like, it's whatever darkness he's going through or whatever darkness is like running the ship right now has him snowed that it is not darkness at all, that it is just me. Like I'm the fucked up one, I'm the broken one, I'm the whatever, like that they want nothing to do with me. I mean, I'm like, the reason why I have a hard time with that is because we've had so many magical moments in the last year. We've had a lot of hardship, you guys know, with the losing the cabin and all that. Like, we've been to hell and back together. There's no doubt about it. But the really beautiful, real, true us, I think, is real. But I feel like whatever that darkness that's driving him maybe that is the rest, like maybe this is the end, and like we've had other lives together, or maybe we'll be in another life together, but he has to go through more and I'm done, like I need to move forward. I don't know, but at the same time I'm like, I can't escape it. I have to be here. I have to go through it, and it sucks. When I had that meltdown, I was stone sober because I've been trying to work through things not so stoned. I just smoked some before I got on here with you, so like it definitely helps. It helps me connect the dots and stuff, but also like I was feeling like my body was feeling tired. I was feeling like I just can feel this purge happening. Yesterday I thought I was getting sick, and then I astral traveled, and I slept like, until that happened, I slept a good solid several hours. But then when I woke up, it was like I was looking around and I was looking for, I was looking for shadow people. Like, I was like, what the fuck? And then I just, like, I called my mom. Oh, that was the other thing that was so crazy. My mom showed up. My mom showed up. I was hiding, and I was scared in a room, and I was like really fucking scared. And I was like, holy shit, like, this is it. Like, because I didn't know if it was me, and like I had projected into like somewhere on earth currently that's happening, and like I exposed them, or if like it was me, like as one of the women who was captive, and I channeled into her so that I could, because the next thing I know, or the last thing I remember now, was I was in a room and I locked it, and I was on the bed crying, and I was really scared, and my mom came in, and my mom was holding me, and my mom told me I was going to be okay, and then I woke up. So there's just so many things. And like I've been saying before, what are the odds that the year that the Wicked movie comes out, my mom dies, when I took my mom to see Wicked for her birthday? And then I go and see it on my birthday this year, and she died in August. It's just, there's just so much power. And I'm seeing how powerful my mom is in all the worlds too. Like she played her role as like the good Christian, whatever. And like, it's just so overwhelming. So just do me a favor and please like allow yourself to go down these rabbit holes. If you need to excuse yourself from people in your life and just be like, I need some extra time alone. I just really need some extra time alone. Take that extra time to yourself. I'm actually really glad that Alder and I are completely broken up right now, because I need to be on my own, and I need to work through this over Christmas. It's also my first Christmas. Even though like I'd stopped talking to my mom for the last few years, it's like, it's just different. 10 years ago my dad died, and I spent Christmas by myself. It was all my friends, like oh my gosh, there's a little fairy in here. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Hi. Oh my gosh, the fairies are telling us it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It just feels really dark. I literally could see her legs. Like I can see her. She's a fairy for sure. Hi. Thank you so much for being in here. We love you. Thank you so much, fairy energy. But that's what they want us to see, is that like we need to let that stuff out, even if it's ugly and gross. 4733. And I feel like because it's a timestamp, 47:33, I feel like that it could be ages for some of you. Maybe you're 47 and you're really going through it. Maybe you're 33. It could be years for you. It could be years, like, sorry, I'm like getting this, like I want to scratch my head. But it's massive, and it's big, and it's real, and it's here, and it's in front of us, and Spirit is like, there's no fucking avoiding it, you guys. Like, this is it. This is the real deal. And sometimes we have to hear and see the most horrendous things so that we can finally fucking let the madness stop. Because that's what it feels like right now. I feel like we're all like in this madness. And it doesn't feel real. And it doesn't feel, I know a lot of you have asked me, Lula, how do I get through this? I'm like, crying. Working through, honestly, the best way we're all going to get through this is on our own. Working through our own individual stuff and our own individual ancestor stuff is the only way we're going to get through this. If you're looking for someone else for answers, like lately I've been like looking at readings, but I even said to Spirit, I'm like, I hope like I'm not looking at readings because I'm like, a quick fix. I'm looking at readings because I'm like, I just want to make sure that this is the path. Like, am I crazy right now? Like, is this good? Kind of like how you guys look to me. I look to others too. So we're just all, as they say, walking each other home. but we're just really walking ourselves back to ourselves is what we're doing. When I went to pick a sticker to put over this, I, grabbed my Dr. Seuss stickers. And my first thought was the blue sticker for throat chakra. Because I'm like, I feel like we all need to speak our truth and get it out there. But interestingly enough, my fingers went for the green for the heart chakra. So we need to work out the anger. We need to get it out there. But preferably not on other people. Like I said to Bubba, like I was like, I'm sorry that I'm yelling. It's, I'm not yelling at her. I'm just yelling. I was just like, I need to cry. I need to get this out. I need to, interestingly enough, it started raining. Can you guys hear that? Right when I said that. So cry, get it out, work through it, let it go. Because there's nowhere else for it to go. Oh my gosh, it's 13:12 on my fucking thing right now. Seriously, because there's really nowhere else to go but inward, and to work through it and get it out. And thank God we don't hand the presidency off until January 20th. It's interesting too because, the year of the snake comes in on January 25th. So, I just don't feel like the dragons would ever allow him to take the throne. However, this could be the rock bottom for Earth. One more presidency under him, and it's like the dark ages, and people are like, oh my gosh, and bombing each other, and it could be. I'm not going to lie. They could be making these movies because they've been trying to prepare us for years. However, I want to see the positive in everything because that's where my heart wants to go. My heart wants to go to the love side of it. So maybe it's not going to go as far as we think it is, and there will be a divine intervention that will come in before it gets to a point where it's so gross and so vile, you know what I mean, that there's no turning back. Because there are some times where it's like, I don't know, it's like, can you come back from certain things? I think almost anything you can come back from, but there are certain things that some people cannot come back from. And I feel like there are certain moments when Alder and I would get together and I would be like, I just really want to talk about this. Can we please talk about this? Because I feel like, if we talk about it, then you can go off and think about it and I can go off and think about it. But I feel like all it did was build a wall thicker between us because I think he took it as like the shadow and the ego that wasn't ready, and I don't know if and when he'll be ready. But I will say this, like, the loving side of him that I'm quite certain knew exactly what I was saying when I was like, is this a date? Because then he spent our date like basically treating me like he was my chauffeur and like my friend that is like, didn't really want to go but told me they'd go. Did you ever do that? Did you ever make plans with your friend or friends and the energy's not there? And so it ends up being like kind of a shitty day or a shitty time together because they really should have just canceled or rescheduled. That's what it felt like. He worked all day. I'm glad we went to dinner first because he decompressed, so that really helped. But by the movie, I could tell he was tired and fidgety, and it was like he was enjoying it. And then there was like these people in front of us that I don't know what happened. They dropped something. They were like for a long time searching for something where I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? It was such a small theater. It only holds like 100 people. And there was only about maybe 30 of us in there, if that. I don't even think there was that many, maybe 20 of us. It was that small of an outcome that day. So it was like, really? And I was like sitting like the fourth row from the front. So I'm like, you had to go sit right there and then like put on this whole show. I don't know if they were brother and sister. I don't think they were together. They looked like they were in their pajamas. They were somewhere in their like late teens, early 20s. It was a very bizarre situation. I was like, I even said to him at one point, I was like, and what was going on with those people in front of us? He's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, that was crazy. But yeah, it was just I just had to keep blinders on so I could stay in the movie and stay in the moment. And because I knew I was never going to see it for the first time again. So, I just had to like block everybody out and just like be there. But I did a video, like I said, I did a video before, it was like pre-Alder and then post-Alder. And it was me just crying, saying like, I think we're done. Like, I'm like, I don't know what was going on between us, but it was so weird. And then when I confronted him a few days later and he was just like, yeah, I'm like, then why would you fucking say we were on a date? And he's like, I thought we were going as friends. I'm like, dude, I asked you if you wanted to go as friends or if it was a date. And then I saw the realization go in his face, like where he was like, like, you know, where I'm like, who are you? He has so many multiple personalities. And I was like, it's like, so the person that's in love with me and like the person that I feel like he really is the one that said yes to the date and was like, wanted to be there with me romantically. I swear to God, I'm not making that up. I could feel that. But then like when it got to the date the next day and like whatever, it was the side of him that was just like, oh God, I have to do this. I have to take care of her. Oh, I don't want to be here, you know? And I'm like, who wants to fucking spend their birthday that way? Who wants to spend their way with anyone like that? And I'm just tired of the bullshit. You know, I'm just tired of the bullshit. So we'll see what happens because I had agreed to work there the day after solstice. I don't know why I did, but I did. And it didn't even feel like me. I asked my pendulum, but I kind of felt like my pendulum was like not sure. And I said, well, we'll have to see anyway, because she was like, well, you can't really work here until you give the owner a reading. And I was like, okay, I get that, whatever. I'm like, I have a YouTube channel. You can just have him go on my YouTube channel. I'm like, I didn't have to have a fucking reading with, you know, when I worked at Psychic Sister, but that's because she was a medium. So she knew I was, she can feel it, you know, but he's not. He's an artist and like he owns this cool metaphysical shop and does tattoos and things like that. But like, we're not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. So he's like, I have to give him a reading to like prove myself. And I was like, go on my fucking channel. If you go on my channel, you wouldn't need me to prove myself. You know what I mean? If you go on any of my stuff, you'd see I don't need to prove anything. So even that was like kind of weird, but I was like, well, I'll do it. You know, it's fine. I had a weird vibe about it. Not that I couldn't do it. It was just that I just was like, I don't know if I want to go that far into their, I don't think people realize that I am a telepathic medium. So like, if you're doing anything underhanded, shystery, like whatever, like if you're shadow, if you're driven by your ego, like any of that, like I will know. So if this ends up being a no, then I'll feel like I dodged a bullet. You know, because I sent him a message on Wednesday, which gave him 5 days to like easily like schedule somebody else. So either he just hasn't responded yet and everything's good and, you know, whatever, some shadow is trying to feed me some darkness, you know, and he's lovely and we're all going to be best friends. You know what I mean? Everything's great. Or he was like, no, like whatever. And I don't know, because I'm like, I messaged you on Wednesday. Maybe he didn't get it. I don't know. Maybe he hasn't seen it. I have no idea. But it's just very, very interesting. So I told myself, I'm like, you know, I'll reach out again right before just to make sure, you know, or if Spirit tells me to. But either way, I was just like, you know, it could be that a lot of times I'm put in people's path to teach them a lesson. You know, I'm older, you know, I got the mama, the crone, and sometimes I'm put in people's path to teach them, you know, like patience and, you know, because I was very honest. I was like, you know, I don't know why, but I felt like I was supposed to, you know, work there, and now I'm getting the no from Spirit, and so I was just very honest about it. So they can look at it as flaky, or they can look at it as responsible, but that was me being responsible, that I had said yes, and then like for days after that, I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be there until after the holidays. And then I even was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be there till January. And I'm like, why did Spirit have me go in there? You know what I mean? But when I keep questioning it, that's when I'm like, I cannot question it because it has nothing to do with me, but it does, you know? So sometimes it's hard because I'm human here, but also I'm also this like oracle and this like being where I'm like, sometimes I wonder if I've ever been human at all. You know what I mean? If I'm just like figuring it out, or I've been human so many times that I just can't siphon through the bullshit. I don't know. But either way, I'm not going to question who I am or what I'm doing. I'm just going to get through it. But this end of the year, we are squeezing the end of that toothpaste. And I really urge you to do the same. And don't judge it. And don't judge the people. Like, I'm not judging anything or whatever. I'm just like giving you observations of what I'm feeling and what is happening while my old world is crumbling beneath me. And the new one is like wanting so desperately to like step into, you know, it's like, it's just time. 5825. I feel like someone who needed to hear that. So, 58 is 13 and 25 is 7. So I was born on the 13th and I'm on life path 7. So here we go. So that's it, you guys. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped you in any way. And just know that you're not alone out there, and seek guidance. Today I was like, I need your help, Spirit. I need your help. As this beautiful group of starlings is flying in front of me, making shapes right now. I love you guys. Thank you. Have a blessed life. Thank you, starlings. It's raining. Maybe you'll see a rainbow. But, you know, just take extra good care of yourselves and each other. Do not go anywhere for the holidays. If you are in anything like this and you go somewhere for the holidays, I guarantee you it will be ugly. especially if you have an aunt, an uncle, family member, friend, somebody who's like pro tea person right now. I would not be around that. I would not be around that. If I were you, I would take as much time to yourself as humanly possible. And you don't have to fucking make excuses. You just tell people, I can't do that right now. Or you don't even have to say I can't. Just be like, just whatever. Use your own languaging that feels good for you in the moment. Maybe you need to practice to something to say so that you stick through it. When I was going through that, one of my shamans, one of my teachers, she really helped me through a lot of stuff. And I was like, I don't even remember what it was now, but she gave me the most beautiful phrase, and it helped me so much. I even had people in my family that mocked it back to me like a child. They were like, and I'm like, you're older than me. I'm like, you are fucking older than me. I cannot believe that I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, what? Because that's what's happening. Because it doesn't matter. You can age, but it does not fucking mean that you have matured. There are people in my old orbit that are older than me that I'm like, they are so immature. And I'm like, they are so fucking immature. So many people around me were so immature, I could not handle it. And everyone's like, oh, they're so wise. I'm like, they're wise. I'm like, do you listen to what they're saying? I'm like, do you hear what they're saying when you're not around? Because every time I would hear people, my friends or my family, backtalk or say some shitty thing about somebody when they left the room, I would, especially if it got really gross, I'd be like, God, what do you say about me when I'm not here? And then I realized that I was surrounded by people. I had surrounded myself with fucking gossipers and mean people and bullies. And it's taken me over 50 years to realize, even me, Alder and I were bullying each other. I said that to him. I go, you basically bullied me. And he's like, I did not. That's not what I thought. And then I could tell he was like he had a completely different perception of my birthday. He was like, we had such a good time. I'm like, you had a good time? I'm like, I was not, because I was under the assumption that we were on a date. I was trying to be romantic and you were shutting me down and shutting me down and shutting me down. I'm like, so no, I wasn't having the best time. And then I could see that they were like, oh, like nothing they could do was like, it was like, oh man, like I was so hard to please. And I'm like, I'm actually really fucking easy to please. I just say things like it is. And so I ask for the same, like, just be truthful. Just be truthful. I'm like, I'd much rather have been like, let's just go as friends. Because like we would have had such a good time as just friends. I wouldn't have been trying to hold his hand. I wouldn't have asked him for a kiss and he shut me down. And then when he was leaving, I'm like, are you even going to hug me on my birthday? And he was like, And he like hugged me and left. And I was like, and we weren't even fighting. He was just tired. It was late and I know he worked and everything. But I was just like, what the fuck? It's like he's saying that I'm asking too much of him when all I'm asking of him is to be a fucking decent husband, be a decent partner, be a decent fucking friend. Just decent. Don't fucking treat me like shit. Don't treat me like I'm a fucking thorn in your side all the time. Who wants to be around that? And if you don't have the energy that day, then you say, I don't have the energy that day. Let me get what I need to get. What do you need? I'll go and get it for you and I'll chop it off. You know? It's been such a weird experience. Our separation for the last 6 months has been so horrible. Or 5 months, whatever it's been. It's been so, it's been so hard on me. I don't even think he even realizes how hard it is. I'm like, all he has to do every day is take care of his damn self. That's it. Him and his fucking car and go to work. That's it. That's it. I have to keep a house running. I have to take care of an elderly animal who's dying, who every day is a fucking crapshoot. I have no idea how she's going to show up, and it's not her fault. She knows that. You know, it's like, I know that. She knows that. She's frustrated. We're both frustrated because she's so independent and she's not used to being manhandled and touched this much. She doesn't like it. Like today, I was like, you have to let me, help you. You have to let me help you, And so she let me help her, but it was really against her will. And she's like hissing and and then she does this meow that's so, it just breaks my heart. It's like, meow. It's like, it's so old. Like, it's like the old lady in her is just like, ow, like that hurts. And I'm like, well, honey, how can I help you? I'm like, what can I do to help you? I'm like, show me. But like, you know what I mean? But whatever this is, like, we have this pact together, and it's, you know, he has no empathy or sympathy for anything I'm going through at all. And when I talk to him, he's like, oh, and I'm doing this and this is happening and I have such a great life. I'm like, well, it must be fucking nice, man. I'm like, because I'm over here, you know, dealing with the death of my mother, who was my best friend, who I had to like, who left this earth without saying goodbye to me, which I know was probably the hardest thing for her. You know what I mean? It's just like nothing, zero. I get zilch, nothing. And then I had to ask myself today when I was crying and screaming, like, where the fuck is he? Like, why would I do this to myself? Like, why would I put this in my soul contract? Why would I, you know, have somebody who treats me like this? Like, why am I, like, why? What am I learning in this lifetime? When I feel like I'm this magical unicorn in my soul, but yet I have like taken on like the burden of my ancestors and like all of these things, and I just am tired, man. I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted. Like, there needs to be like new fucking languaging and words, like, for like what I've encountered this last year on every level. And every level I think I can't handle or whatever. And it's like, and then I get through it, and then it's like, it gets more difficult. So, you know, they're like, oh, Sagittarius, this is your year, and Jupiter and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? So, you know, and I was born in the year of the pig. So, next year is the year of the snake, and snake and pig are mortal enemies in the, you know, Chinese astrology. So I don't know like what the next year is going to bring. And I was just like, I don't know. And maybe that's why he and I need to be completely broken up, because even if my soul tells me that he's my destiny in this lifetime, it doesn't matter, because I can no longer allow him to treat me like this, or me treat him, because every time I think we're working, I'm like sending him things, he takes it as like, you know, I get it. We see each other and I'm like, hey, I researched this thing about blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's what's going on with you, right? So he doesn't need every time. But at the same time, he stopped going to therapy. And when he stopped going to therapy, this is exactly where we were 4.5 years ago. He stopped going to therapy. He fell off the wagon. He went and he's like, I need some time to myself. He went and cheated on me again after we went through all this stuff together. And when I found out, and when everything happened, and she didn't know anything about me, she was like, I am so sorry. I had no idea. And she's like, that fucking sucks, because that's happened to me. And she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, if I had known, she's like, I would have never, ever done this to you. She's like, I hope you know, like, and I was like, it's okay, you know, whatever. So if you guys remember, that's when I broke up with Alder, like really broke up with him, kicked him out of the house, like made him move out, all that stuff. He tried to kill himself because he realized he fucked up with me and that I was the love of his life and all this stuff. And then, you know, he went into the hospital and was in the hospital for how long? I don't know, several weeks, from like August 11th to like the end of September. And, or I think August 11th was the day he tried to kill himself, which was so interesting because 11/11 was always our thing. And in the Lionsgate portal on the 11th is the day that he tried to kill himself. And then I went through all that with him. And one of my dearest friends at the time, we ended up, our friendship broke up over it, because she was just like, if you take him back again, she's like, I can't watch it. Like, I can't. And I was like, he has no one to take care of him. And she's like, that's not your fucking problem. And I said, I love him. You know, I'm like, love sucks, but you know, he's a sex addict. Like, he's an addict. Like, he's working through these things. I'm like, who am I to like, you know, like how would I like it if he was like, oh, you have an eating disorder? You have an eating addiction? I can't be with you. You know, so I kind of tried to, you know, so the last 4.5 years, it's like basically our entire relationship has been just us both like peeling back every layer we could possibly peel back. But last spring, we were having such a tough time, and we were outside, and he saw 4-leaf clover, and he picked it up and he gave it to me, and I'm like, oh dude, I'm like, my mom, when I was little, I used to search for 4-leaf clover. So it was just like this, it was very magical and whatever. And And just the way he looked at me was such, like, I knew he truly loved me. And he was like, we're going to get through this. Everything's going to be good. And he's like, he's like, this is a good sign. This is good luck. And it was the day we came and looked at this property. And it was, and it's been good, you know, and it's, for all the places that I've lived, this has definitely been the best one, but it definitely has been much harder doing this by myself. And he does help in some ways, but it's like the day to day, like every day, it's been so overwhelming for me and Bubba, you know? So there's this part of me that's like, stop being so selfish and stop being me, ego, and like fucking get back here and take care of your family. You know, help take care of the family that you built. You don't get to just fucking leave when the going gets tough and then just come back when you feel like it. And that's what happened with me and my family. That's what they would say to me. They're like, you're not here for the hard stuff. You're not here for the blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not here because you treat me like shit, because you talk to me like shit, because I don't want to be here. If I had ever felt like I was part of my family, I would have never moved away. I would have never moved 2,200 miles away from home if I felt like I didn't need to do that. And every time I came home, I felt more and more distant from my family because they were, I'm sorry, but they were very much assholes to me. Not that they were assholes in general. Like, people be like, oh, your so-and-so is so nice, or you're so lucky. And I'm like, lucky? I'm like, they don't treat me the way they treat you. And that's what I said to Alder. I go, do you realize that you treat me like so-and-so? And he knows that that's the one person in my family that I feel like is the meanest to me. And I said, do you know you treat me like they do? And he just looked really surprised. And when I started to explain to him, he was like, I saw like the light bulb moment, and he's like, I got it. And I said, well, so you can imagine being treated like that on your birthday, not so fun. And interesting that like my birthday was magical until I brought him into it. And I go, if I knew it was going to be like this, I would have fucking done this myself. I would have had a whole entire different day. But instead, you know what I mean? And I was like, note taken, lesson learned, I'm done. So today when I had the meltdown was the breakthrough. It was a breakdown, but it was a breakthrough because I realized, I'm like, why am I begging to have this fucking energy in my life? Why am I begging to be mistreated? And then I realized, because that's all I knew. That was what love was. When Alder and I are in the true essence of love space, we have so much love for each other, we can't keep our hands off each other. We can't, like, we love being around each other. We love being together. But you bring in that darkness and the shadow and the ego, and it's like none of it matters. And he has no feelings for me. He has no empathy. It's crazy. And I said, don't you realize that every day that you stay away from me, you grow darker and darker and darker. And you've allowed this little voice in your head tell you that you're a big shot, that you're this, that you're that. And I'm like, but you're not. You're not fucking working on those things. You're not healing those things. Because if you were, you wouldn't talk to me like that. So he is doing those things, and I'm proud of him, and I'm glad that he's helping people, and he's been working with a lot of men. But I also think it's interesting that he's been around all of these men, and he's around men who are not in their highest, you know what I mean? Like, people that I said, I don't think you should hang around with those people because they're just going to bring you, like, you know, it's like the king of the dipshits theory from 16 Candles, right? Where she's like, well, you're kind of cool. You're, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm the king of the dipshits. He's like, but I don't want to, he's like, look at them. They're all a bunch of idiots or whatever. And she's like, no, they're just figuring out who they are and blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly what it is. It's like all these people are figuring out who they are, but it's like he needs that divine feminine energy to keep him balanced and stable so he doesn't tilt too far over to the shadow, to the darkness, to the ego, because the divine masculine is on fucking high, like it's on fucking steroids and speed and, like, you know what I mean right now, because it's the demise of it. It's the crumbling of the patriarchy, and he was born and raised in it, so it's like it's part of him too. Basically, I realized I'm not mad at him, you know what I mean? I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just frustrated with what's happening, and I realized that nobody can change or heal anything within me but me. So I can no longer allow them to be in my orbit. So I told him, I said, I think moving forward, we shouldn't spend any time together. I'm like, if you're game, I'm like, I will just give you a list and I will, you know, and we will figure stuff out. You know, I'm like, we will figure everything out. But right now, I'm like, yeah. I need to stay in my joy and my grounded energy. I want to work on my art and my music and my songs. So once we get through this in the new year, I really want to take some, I think I'm going to end up taking a lot of time to myself because I need to finish. I feel like now I need to do it. You know what I mean? Like now I feel like it's time. And I also got this vibe that when I turned 55 is when things were going to really like, bam, like holy shit. And I'm just turned 53. So I feel like the next few years for all of us, it's just going to be a lot of change and transformation. And by 2026, we're just going to see a whole new world. And it's going to be so good. But the next 2 years, we're going to have to get through it. And we're going to see, it's going to be like any other war, you know, where we're going to have casualties and things are going to happen. And, you know, until people say enough is enough and they stand up and fight. We need more people to stand up and fight and stop being passive and stop saying, oh, voting doesn't matter, or oh, this doesn't matter, or oh, that doesn't matter. It does matter. And for all the times that we've let shit go, or we've bypassed, or we didn't set that boundary, or whatever, it's all coming for us now. So none of us are escaping it. So please do your due diligence. Face it when you can. Rest when you can. Love hard back. But also get it out, man. Cry. Get the anger out. Let it go. Release it. It's old shit. You're carrying it not just for you or your immediate family. You're carrying it for all the ancestors, not just your blood and bone, but all the ancestors in general, that all the years and trauma and, you know what I mean? Let it go. I'm going to let you go right here. Let it go. Let it go. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. And let's not forget to work with the ladybug spirit medicine, because we need that protection and renewal, rebirth energy. That's what the snakes are about. They're about renewal and rebirth, baby. And we need that protection right now. Wear a lot of black. Black is good, red is good, green's good for heart chakra, but black's really good for protection. If you're insisting on going to be around people that are going to test your patience and your whatever, wear green and black so you can come from your heart, but protect yourself from that. And if somebody says something, go take a walk, take a breath, come back, face it, you know. Or if it needs to blow up, maybe it needs to blow up. Maybe you need to finally have that fucking come to Jesus moment. Maybe you need to talk to that person, you know, like I did. Maybe, like, I had to do that. I had to hear it. I had to hear him say, I don't love you anymore. I don't ever want to be with you again. And I was like, okay, bye. Of course I've been ripped apart. Of course I've been ripped to shreds. That's why Spirit didn't want me to work on the 22nd, because not just that it was like beginning of, you know, winter and solstice and the darkest day and the light day and all that, like, Christmas. It was like, because I'm going through so much right now. And yes, I could still do readings for people. I know how to, like, whatever, but I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to work through this right now. We all are. I love you. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh.